For $49, this is kind of seeming like a scam to me. Rose Inc, like what is this? In my Calorie skin tint review, I said that everyone was coming out with a skin tint at the moment, and I was not wrong because Rose Inc also just launched their Skin Enhanced Luminous Tinted Serum. I've been a big fan of the Rose Inc concealer, so this is a very exciting new launch for me. It has this like pigment encapsulation type of formula. Seems very new, innovative, unlike anything I've personally tried before, and it was quite the journey that we went on trying that product. I also ended up trying out the new Say Beauty Air Set Powder because I was very curious how this would end up looking. So if you're interested in both of those, then keep on watching. Before we start, if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you do find it enjoyable or helpful at any point. But let's get into the application. So here's the product itself, and it just comes in this plain paper box, and this is $49 for 1 ounce of product. A lot of you have been comparing this to, I believe there's a Chanel water tint that has a similar look to this, which I've never personally tried, but yeah, $49, so it is quite pricey. And this also comes in 14 different shades. I got the shade 30, which I believe is the third lightest shade. It's light skin tone with warm golden undertone. I usually go with the lightest shade that has warm undertones for any foundation or skin tint. It's described as a radiant skin tint that visibly plumps and smooths the skin while delivering sheer coverage. So the coverage claim is light, radiant finish, and it's a liquid formula. Some of the highlighted ingredients are sodium hyaluronate, squalene, and peptide. So vegan, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and comes in recyclable packaging. And the reason that it sort of looks like this, there's like the pigment spheres in it. It says pigment spheres are suspended within a skincare base infused with sodium hyaluronate to visibly plump and smooth the appearance of fine line, squalene to weightlessly hydrate the skin, and peptides to help protect against environmental damage. So it seems like it's sort of like a hydrating serum formula, and then they have the pigment capsules in it. I'm not really sure like what the pro is to having the pigments not really mixed in. Like I feel like if it's mixed in, it's still the same product. It doesn't like look the nicest. I'm not like a huge fan of how this looks, but we'll see. And the directions say to pump on the back of your hand, mix with a foundation brush to activate the spheres so that they blend into like one formula, and then blend onto face. They do have a brush that comes with it. I think you'd actually get both of these for $10 extra, but that one was sold out, so I'm just gonna use the brush that I have, and we'll also test it a couple different ways. So here's what it looks like when I pump it out. It looks pretty weird. You can see like the pigment in it, and it kind of grosses me out a little bit. It's very, very watery and liquidy at first. And then once you start to mix it in, you start to get like the pigment out of it. Very, very interesting formula. I've definitely never tried anything like this. It feels just like a hyaluronic acid serum, like very light and just like hydrating on the skin. Like that looks really nice and feels good, but I'm not sure how it's gonna be on the face. Since it said to use a brush, I am going to use a new brush. This one is from Crunchy. It's just their #1 brush, just a flat top foundation brush. And I'm gonna do 1 pump on the back of my hand again, and then it said to mix it with the brush and then blend it onto your skin. I'm sick right now, so my skin is like all over the place. Like this side has rosacea flare, this side is fine. Just not good. I feel like I'm getting literally any coverage out of that. It feels really moisturizing. So that was a full pump on this side of my face. I feel like the brush is just absorbing it. This formula is so like water-based. I'm not sure how to apply this to make the product go the longest way without it being absorbed into everything, even with like a sponge. Like I don't know if that did anything. Can you even tell? Let's try the other side. And for $49, I definitely don't want to be using like a ton of this product. I guess I'm getting very sheer coverage out of it. It definitely feels nice, but it's very hard to tell if it's really doing much. It's very sheer for my preference. Even in a skin tint, I like something that's like light buildable so I can actually get some coverage out of it. And again, this is my 3rd pump going in and blending this on my forehead. It feels really nice on the skin. Like the water feels very cooling. Like I can see the pigment going onto my skin. I'm just not sure it's doing a lot. I'm also really curious if you had any sort of oil-based skincare on underneath this, if it would pill or just react react really oddly because oil and water do not mix. And this is the first ingredient, and this is water. Basically just like putting a serum on your face. It has a really nice glow, but I don't know. I'm doing another full pump on my sponge to see if we can at least build this up a little bit. So I'm not really sure that did a whole bunch with the second layer. I think it's kind of just stopped at this sheer finish. This is not quite enough coverage for my preference, but it looks really pretty and it was a really fun texture to apply. I actually don't feel like the sponge absorbed too much of the product. Like, it definitely toned down the redness in my skin, although a lot of it is still showing through. Very sheer, just like wash of tint. It's basically just a very like lightly tinted serum product. It looks pretty, like my skin looks super healthy, which I like. I just really can't see myself using this unless I used a bunch of concealer. It's just not really seeming like my thing. It's giving me nothing. I will say it blended in nicely. The pigment mixed in with the serum formula. It didn't get patchy, it didn't accentuate texture. So those are all good things, but I did use so much product for my face. I did what, 5 pumps of this product, and for it being $49, I could see just like blowing through this if you're using as much product as I kind of needed to even get like a little bit of coverage. I'm going to stick with the brand and use my Rose Ink concealers, which I really love. These are full coverage. I think it's a good companion to a very light coverage foundation. I don't know. So I usually do a couple dots of the lightest shade, LX10. These containers get pretty messy, which is annoying. You have to clean them quite frequently, and then I usually add a little bit of LX20, which is the next darkest shade, just to like add some peachiness to it. I did think the shade of this was pretty nice because they're so sheer, and there's what, 14 shades. I think you could probably find a shade that would work for you because it's so sheer. It doesn't really give you a ton of pigment. It's more of just like matching the correct undertone, and this one was the third lightest shade. I don't feel like it was too dark. My face is red, so it always looks different than my neck, but like not too bad. And I was gonna use my sponge to blend out this concealer. I also have this new Say Beauty Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder to try out. I got the lightest shade, so we're gonna try this one as well. Let me know if you want like a full separate review on this. I'm just gonna give it a try today, see how it works. I'm just gonna do this under my eyes though. We might set one half of the face, but I think I'm gonna use a different powder that I'm more familiar with. And this is the shade Translucent. It looks pretty dark, so we'll see if it does deepen my under eyes. And this powder claims to be luminous as well, which for me is a big red flag that it's gonna look bad under my eyes, but I'm always open to trying these. It might look better on the face, but we'll give it a go. And I always like to just like push in the product under my eyes and make sure all my creases are smoothed out before I do set anything. That is luminous, but it's so pretty. Wow, that looks really good under my eyes. I'm so surprised. Usually luminous powders just have like this thickness and they really just accentuate like all my lines. I feel like it maybe deepened it a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. I feel like the shimmer in it is very Say Beauty. Like if you've ever tried their super glowy gel, and it has, and you know that like type of shimmer that they use, that it's so finely milled, it looks beautiful on the skin. The powder has that like same type of finish. Like it's barely there, but it does add a nice light reflecting, I don't know, just looks really nice. I'm actually going to use this powder to set my face. We'll just do the right side and then we'll compare for the wear test, like if that made a difference. I really like this powder. You guys know I'm so picky about powders. This is like very surprising. I feel like this is what the Rare Beauty new powder sort of like wanted to be, but isn't quite as nice looking on the skin. So I went ahead and just set this under eye as well, but we're leaving the rest of my face unset. I have this dry patch on like the inner corner of my eye. I have no idea how to get rid of it. If you know, let me know in the comments, but I've like moisturized the hell out of it. I've like tried to gently scrub it, and it's just like this little patch of texture. I don't know what it is. Guys, this powder I'm very shocked by. You know, I'm picky with powders. I don't like a ton of powders, especially one that claims to be luminous. Usually never works out for me, especially under the eyes, but this just looks so smooth. I can't even describe the finish. It just gives you this like very healthy look, but not at all visible glitter or shimmer. I hope this wears well because it's so pretty. Let's go ahead and finish up the face. I'm just gonna use this Hourglass Nude Bronze Light Bronzer, one of my favorites. There's been so many new launches lately. I've been buying them all so I can test them, so if they're bad, you can save your money. I just ordered the new KVD concealer that came out today. I'm kind of worried about the shade because it looked like a little bit dark, which is weird. I feel like KVD, or maybe before when it was Kat Von D's brand, the shades were really nice, especially in the lighter shade range. There was some very fair shades, but now of course they have new owners. Hopefully it's light enough. Powder went over really nicely with the unset skin tint. It's not like picking it up or anything. Then taking the iconic London Silk Glow Duo, I'm using the blush shade. I'm trying to switch up my blush because I'm always using the same thing. This one's really pretty. It has like a nice glow to it. Let me go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup and my eyes, and we'll be back to assess our sort of final look here. Rest of my makeup is finished. I use this new NYX Epic Wear liner. You know I'm obsessed with these for either the waterline on the top lashes as like a pop of something. I always pick up a new one when I order from Ulta or I'm at Ulta because they come in so many cool metallic shades, and this is a new one they have called Rose Gold, which actually has like more glitter in it. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's just a really light champagne. I put this just on my lower lash line and it looks so pretty. It's just like a little something. I really recommend this. Try this out on like your lower lash line. Love it. Now that the rest of my makeup is on, I actually think the finish is so stunning. I would say this is definitely the most skin-like foundation product I've ever tried. Like really does not look like makeup at all. It's really serum-y, and I like that it's more water-based and gives you a glow that way versus being super oily, which tends to just like sit on top of the skin. Like I feel like it sort of sank in and is just giving this really pretty luminous glow. It literally does not feel like I have anything on my skin. Extremely lightweight. It is a little bit more sheer for my preference, but if you like super sheer, just like skin tint and maybe concealer, I think you would really enjoy this. I would just be a little more inclined to recommend it if I didn't have to use so much of it. I'm also really loving the finish of the new Say Beauty powder. It looks so stunning. I hope that it wears well because I can't wait to try this over like my Bite Beauty foundation or maybe like a matte foundation. I do feel like it's a little tiny bit dark, but overall it didn't deepen my face that bad as like the Rare Beauty powder did. Yeah, I think the skin looks super duper healthy. So I will go ahead and insert a close-up. You might have already seen it, and then I'm going to do a close-up on my phone because sometimes it picks up a little bit more texture. Nothing's really standing out in a bad way. The little patch under my eye looks like a little bit dry, but it hasn't really like sunken into lines. It just looks really nice and healthy so far, especially the powdered side. I'm just really liking the glow that it has. It really looks like your own natural glow and not in like an oily, dewy, or like sticky kind of way. So I think if you have oily skin and you still wanted a very like healthy looking skin product, this might be a nice option. And it's pretty late. It is 5 o'clock, but I will wear this to the very end of the night and let you know how it ends up wearing on my skin. I can't imagine that this would get too cakey because it is so light, but we'll see in terms of how oily I get, if anything creases. So I will see you in the update. So we're back. It is 12 a.m. in the morning and I've been wearing this for quite some time now, but I will say that about the 5-hour mark is when this started to go downhill. I don't know if you can really tell on camera. It's looking a lot better on camera than it is when I'm looking at it in real life. But especially this unset powder side is very oily right by my nose. It also sunk into these like lines that I have on the sides of my nose. I guess like when I make that expression, I didn't even know those were there. So that's not too great. It didn't really like sink into my smile lines. It did rub off on my chin and just below my nose, but I've been blowing my nose, so you know, that's fine. The side with the powder is definitely like a lot less oily. This side is much better for sure, just this side in general. But I don't know, I'm not really loving the performance of this. I think 50 bucks for a water skin tint that does not wear well is really not a vibe in my opinion. I don't think this is worth it. Maybe I will say the one exception, if you have very dry skin, you like very sheer coverage, you like things that are like skincare based, very light, don't need for it to wear super long, you might really enjoy this. But if you're looking for something that's like long wearing and very smoothing and like doesn't sink into lines, I don't really think this is the one. Sorry Rose Inc. I had big hopes for this. It did not go well. I still love their concealer, but in terms of skin tints, I'm really loving the new Calorie one. definitely over this. Similar price, I think the calorie is $39, so 10 more bucks for this one. That one just gave me a lot more coverage, wore a lot better. This one I don't ever see myself gravitating towards. Even on the powdered side, it like ended up looking makeup-y, which is weird because it's so light and skincare-esque. For $49, this is kind of seeming like a scam to me. Rose Inc, like what is this? So overall, I'm gonna say not recommend unless you do have a very dry skin, don't need something that's long wearing, all that other stuff I said previously. I feel like the star of this video was actually the Stay Beauty setting powder because that's super pretty. Again, let me know if you want a full review of that, but I'm just not really loving the performance of the skin tint. It was kind of a bummer for me. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in trying this out or if you ordered it and tried it out yourself and maybe it worked differently for you. I don't know, I have a lot of redness and I do have fairly oily skin, so maybe it'll look a lot different if you have a different skin type. That's just my experience, but thank you all for sticking with me until 12 a.m. for this little checkup. Oh, I will go ahead and also insert a video on my phone. I feel like my phone will definitely show a lot more of what's going on currently, better than my camera is right now. So you will be seeing this or see it momentarily. All right, everybody, that was it for my Rose Inc Skin Enhanced Luminous Tinted Serum review. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did and subscribe so you don't miss my next videos on all the new launches that are coming out. Thank you for tuning in and I'll see you all next time. Bye.